This is a drawing my father did of himself in 1940 in a letter to his sister, arriving in America on the boat, safe from Nazi Austria. He didn't know then what would befall his parents and most of his family. He was young and he hardly spoke English, but he was carrying a message from Europe. A few years ago, I started drawing elephants, with an underlying theme of their fragility in the face of the threat of extinction. I was, and still am, very passionate about elephant conservation. As I drew, I realised that I was identifying with the elephants through a kind of shared feeling of threat. Anti-Zionism had become more noticeable on social media, even among some of my friends, and this felt threatening to me and to my existence as a Jew. At that time, I felt uncomfortable talking about it. I didn't know how to pinpoint clearly where some of the comments I was seeing were anti-Semitic, and I didn't want to risk the pain of being shut down over something that was so core to who I was. So I kept quiet, and I didn't tell anyone what the drawings meant. Fast forward a couple of years, and I could no longer keep silent. Brought into mainstream politics with the rise of Corbyn and the far left, anti-Semitism had become normalised in the UK. All it needed was the platform of social media to grow so extreme that Holocaust denial and calls to kill Zionists were no longer only the domain of the far right. Jewish people were facing a mountain of hate. But when we spoke out, we were met with denial and accused of lying to cover for the crimes of Israel. We were mocked, abused, and treated like dancing bears. We were told that we were the bullies, while the anti-Semites were the real victims. We waited for people we thought were anti-racist to defend us, but our expectations were mostly met with silence, or more denial. I decided I had to make a piece of art too big to ignore. I hoped it would express what I couldn't express any other way. Witness tells a story about a moment in time that could be any moment in Jewish history. It tells my story, my father's story, and the story of his family before him. It asks you to recognise and call out this hatred, even when this is a lonely path. It asks you to think about the language you speak. It asks you to listen.